introduced to Bitcoin back in. Everyone always has their. I was introduced to Bitcoin in this year, and then you kind of like compare, what year? Well, 2012, 2013. So 2013 was really when I got introduced to it, and then was entered the BitAngels. I went to the Future of Money conference in Atlanta. Jeffrey Tucker was there. Charlie Shrem was there. I met Dan Larimer there. I actually interviewed him on my podcast afterwards. It's a terrible interview. Don't listen to it because the vocabulary wasn't there. We just really didn't understand how to talk about what we were trying to do. And so the BitAngels Google group was the one it was like a Google group. It was like 200 people that were interested in angel investments in the tokens, because the first token sale happened, the Mastercoin token sale happened in the end of 2013. And then Ethereum started to come out. There was also Storage and MadeSafe and all those. So they were actually doing some of the due diligence frameworks and letting people see the presentations of these new distributed. Actually, they were just pre-selling access to open source software systems that you needed a token for. So they weren't, they weren't securities, they weren't ICOs, they weren't anything. It was pre-selling a credit to an open source software system, which you could then use later on. And if the open source software system, took off, then technically your credit might be worth more than anything, which now the SEC would say that's a security grade. And so that grew, pretty well during the early years. And the crypto winter in 2014, 2015 kind of
it took its chill on most of the things.
Yes. And people were building different types of things. There wasn't a lot of angel activity, at least with this group. But the people back then, that stuck around, that are still in the industry, you look around, those are the people that have really, built a lot of things in this place.
Yeah.
So it's really a pleasure to be able to like restart this chapter of this, and then actually have a lot of different new angel companies coming through. There's going to be road shows, of course, through Michael Turbin's going to be running it through a bunch of different cities around the country, hopefully around the world.
And the world. He really has a global presence as well.
And we have a lot more tools and know-how and information than we did back then. So I see it taking off and becoming something pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And we'll be running this one, like we've said, we really want to focus on thought leadership and community. And it's not just, hey, come listen to 4 or 5 pitches and eat free tacos. It's like, let's actually help each other a lot. Let's talk about the issues in the industry. And then, of course, let's get some startups funded.
And also, guys, we do want to hear about the project. So if your company, if you're working for a company, or if you have a company, please let us know. We would love to be able to allow you to present, because we believe that we want to have a dynamic here. So we are bringing the traveling companies to show you, as well as the local Texas companies. And so, and we're looking at it as a Texas, because we believe that all of those cities are kind of a big part of our, little ecosystem. So it's the leadership and the projects, because that's what we need. So without further ado, thank you so much. Make sure you enjoy all the tacos. And I would like to introduce our first presenter. It is just really my pleasure to be able to introduce her. She's very powerful female entrepreneur in space industry. And I think that is amazing, because if we think blockchain industry is challenging, we'll try to go into space industry, right? Like building big rockets, it's kind of more of a, for now, is a man's thing, right? So for now, come on in. And so space, I'm an advisor in Space Fund, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, because it really pulls me into the industry of space, as well as allows me to be able to connect blockchain industry with actually space, right? So there's so many opportunities and interest here. So if you are a company, guys, and think, oh, well, my company could be a solution to something in space, talk to Megan and Rick over there too. Rick is here. He's also with Space Fund. He's a founder, and he's a space legend, guys. So these guys right here, just they're true diamonds. Or what would be the most rare, treasure?
Water.
They're
So
water. They're
we're
water.
We're a cool glass of water.
Yeah.
It's interesting for Rick and I. We've been in the space industry for a while, and this is a thing that we say, that when we started coming into this community, we started hearing the exact same thing, right? And it's been fun for us, the parallels between the two industries, because there really are huge revolutions going on right now, both in finance and the beauty of blockchain and all of the great things it's going to provide for us. But there's a real revolution going on in space as well. So I'm going to talk about that for just a minute, and then we'll talk about some interesting projects that have some crossover, where blockchain's really helping the space industry, and then we'll talk a little bit about our project as well. So, maybe I don't have a clicker. There we go. Yeah, got it. Probably know who these guys are, right? You've seen these ugly mugs before. Two of the richest and most famous guys on the planet, and they have a very fun duel going on between their dueling rocket companies. These guys have changed the universe, and you guys may remember this. This was the launch of Falcon Heavy. This is the least expensive way to get to orbit that's ever been created. So this little graph here shows you, over the last 20 years or so, the cost of getting to orbit in kilograms, dollars per kilogram. Right, when it's space shuttle, $20,000 per kilogram to get to orbit. And then over the years, you see a whole bunch of different countries come in with government-funded projects. The French, the Russians, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Indians, they're all getting the cost down just a little bit. But these last 2 points here, it's Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Falcon Heavy is $1,500 per kilogram to get to orbit. So in 20 years, you've seen the cost of getting to orbit go down by 95%, right? That completely fundamentally changes the economics of space. And so what comes next? In the next few years, you're going to see tens of thousands of satellites launched into orbit. Not hundreds, not thousands, tens of thousands of satellites are going to orbit. Those satellites are going to need to be serviced. They're going to need to be refueled. They're going to need, we're going to need an ecosystem in space, an economic ecosystem that exists separately from our terrestrial ecosystem. You're also going to start to see tens and then hundreds of people going into space. People with ideas, people who can go and do research, people who will come back with exciting new business models and exciting new IP. And so you're going to see the space industry grow from what's today a $350 billion industry over the next 20 years into a multi-trillion-dollar industry. All of the big banks and financial firms that have assessed the space industry are showing extreme growth over the next 20 years. So this is a great economic opportunity, it's a great business opportunity, and it's really, really exciting sector to be in. But like with any industry, we've got some problems, we've got some growing pains, and some things that we really need to solve in order to create this off-Earth ecosystem. And I think that there are very important applications of blockchain that can help us do just that. So a few examples of some companies that are starting to provide those solutions. There's a great company out of Germany called Cloud.io. EO stands for Earth Observation. Right now there's hundreds of satellites in orbit taking pictures of the planet. Those pictures can be very valuable if you can find the right picture with the right geotag from the right time, from the right provider, in the right format. Because every picture that comes down, every satellite that sends pictures down, different formatting, different geotag, different everything. So how does the consumer of these images find valuable images, find what they need? And how can you be sure that that image is taken at that time, right? Because majority of the value of these images is watching change over time. So Cloud.io is using a blockchain-based marketplace and platform to track, catalog all of that data, be able to provide security about where it came from and when, and then put it all into a digital marketplace based on smart contracts that for the first time allows a consumer to have access to all the Earth observation data they need and have confidence in its security. Another team is a group called Space Bridge Logistics. They're around here in Austin a little bit, so you guys may have run into them.
Oh yeah.
They are doing some really interesting work. One of the problems with an in-space ecosystem that only exists in space is that nobody's there to see what's going on, right? When you have a normal business contract for a product or service, you sign your contract, you receive said product or service, you verify said product or service is what in fact you want to pay for, and you send a wire transfer. It's done. Well, when you're in space, when you're hundreds of miles above our head, how do you verify that that product is the right product? How do you verify that that service has been completed appropriately? And how does everybody involved in that transaction have a sense of security that everything's working appropriately? Well, the blockchain obviously can provide a lot of that. And so this company is doing a really great job of building an intermediary platform that will help contracting, logistics, and of course, financial transactions. And so, Space Fund. Space Fund was created to open the frontier of space to humanity and to enable everyone to help open that frontier and to let anyone who shares in the risk share in the profits. Okay? In today's financial environment, this is very difficult to do. How do you let your average person, the person who's inspired by space, how can they get involved in this world of Musk and Bezos? If you're not a billionaire, can you really be involved in the space industry? And we say yes, for a lot of reasons. And we are hoping that tokenization gets us 100% there. Maybe not in the US quite yet, but in some other jurisdictions around the world, we're starting to see security tokens allow us to fulfill this mission of letting more and more people be involved in this exciting economic opportunity. And so we are a tokenized fund. I know most of you know what a security token is, but just in case, it's basically a digital version of stock. And because it's digital, it has a lot more liquidity. And for us in the space industry, when we're talking about high dollar and long-term projects, as many of these companies are, the biggest problem with space investing is lack of liquidity. So security tokens really, we think, have the potential to completely change the nature of space investing. And so the fund is based on a couple of basic principles. We understand the space industry. We have unique access to the market and all of the companies in it. And we built a traditional, very basic, very normal, very vanilla venture capital structure that is a great structure for investing in startups. And then we've tokenized that to provide investors this opportunity for near-term liquidity. We're also looking at security tokens as a way to provide exits for our portfolio companies, kind of giving us a double liquidity through the security token markets. Oh, that did not translate well, did it? Okay, well, I'll just let you know. We are a $20 million closed-ended 10-year fund. Our minimum ticket size is $200,000, and a standard 2 and 20 management fee. So, when moon, now moon. And the companies that we're investing in are the ones that are going to get us there. And also, while I have your attention, you've seen some of these flyers here on the table. We are doing a big, exciting space conference, November 15th and 16th at the Bullock Texas History Museum. And of course, the amazing Space Cowboy Ball. If you want to meet the people who are doing this, who are making this happen, these are the two events you need to be at. And of course, this is through our nonprofit.
You guys this is blocking the entryway.
We are fundraising. We are fundraising through these projects to help with STEAM education, to help inspire and educate the generations that will go and settle space permanently. So I would love to talk to any of you about how your projects might help the space industry, or how you might want to be interested or involved in Space Fund and what we're doing, opening up the frontier for everybody to participate. So thank you very much.
I'd like to add, guys, that when it comes to the deal flow, they are, if you want to think of an opportunity to be able to kind of get exposed to the space, they are the ones that have access to all of the deals. And the reason is because you are founder of a nonprofit organization that looks at basically every business plan that is in the space industry, and Megan's been doing it for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
We've been running the New Space
Yeah.
Business Plan competition.
Exactly.
We read about 100 business
Yes.
plans a year, so
Yeah.
I know all the crazy ideas, all the crazy people, and the same ones too. So
And also people that are doing things that that are kind of more successful, right?
Yes,
Because there's already a
exactly.
track record of those that can make things happen and those that are, maybe can't.
yeah,
I
correct,
don't know.
correct.
Yes, so thank you so much.
CoinClear is a company that we've actually been involved with since the start. Decentranet, one of our first real advisory clients that we were able to start helping. And they're talking about turning your daily habits into creating a cryptocurrency portfolio. And so without any further ado, Steve.
Hey everybody, as Matt said, I'm Stephen Butchko and I'm a co-founder of CoinClear. It's basically a mobile app that allows you to easily and passively invest in cryptocurrency. So whether you're a new investor, new to the industry, or you're a Bitcoin OG, applying smart investment strategies to cryptocurrency is difficult. It's hard to diversify. Oftentimes you have to have multiple accounts across multiple exchanges and make a bunch of individual investments. And if you're new to the industry, those exchanges can be pretty intimidating. The ones that are focused on beginners oftentimes are very predatory, and they jack up the transaction fees for small investments, sometimes up to 10 or 20% in Coinbase's case. But overall, there's just still a huge knowledge gap for people that aren't in the cryptocurrency industry, which makes them intimidated, and they don't really want to start investing because of that. And as you can see, people are, not the clicker would show up there, I guess not. People do believe in the future of cryptocurrency, yet they still haven't started investing yet, so there is a huge gap. And that's actually why I created CoinClear, because I was pretty much getting tired of having to consistently invest for friends and family and having to hold their hand and walk them through the experience. So with CoinClear, we offer one-step diversification, automatic investments, and for the community, we have the CoinClear Classroom, which provides educational resources to new investors. But taking a little bit closer look at the product, we really make investing as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, just create an account. It takes under 5 minutes. Next, set up your automations. You can invest the spare change from your credit card purchases, set weekly investments, put aside a portion of your paycheck, or even start a rainy day fund where every day that it rains, $5 is automatically invested. From there, you just sit back, relax, and watch your portfolio grow. We handle all of the hard work. So at CoinClear, we believe in dollar cost averaging is the best way to smooth out the volatility of the cryptocurrency market. And we have the data to prove it. So last year we set up a demo account using our spare change, roundups automation, and my credit card purchases. We set it up in June in the heart of the bear market, and already it's up over 80% in the last 11 months. So unlike other beginner platforms, we have very transparent and simple pricing, just 3% to convert from fiat to crypto and vice versa, no other fees. And as you all know, the world's moving towards micro, mobile, and cryptocurrency investments. You've got Circle, Robinhood, Coinbase, even Square, all multi-billion-dollar companies, and that's where we're planning to get to. But to start, we're just focusing on affluent millennials. They're the most open to new technologies, and we've seen in our data from people that have signed up to the platform that they're the most popular, they're our highest demographic. So assuming a reasonable $100 lifetime value, that gives us a $500 million market from the get-go. When you expand out to just affluent households in general, because millennials aren't the only ones investing, there's a $4 billion market there. And as you guys well know, the cryptocurrency market already at $275 billion and is growing rapidly. I pretty much have to change that number every time I do this presentation to something higher. So we're gonna have 100,000 users by the third quarter of 2020, and we're gonna get there by tapping into the network effects of millennials and the cryptocurrency community. Already, we've seen that we have highly engaged customers. Our welcome email has an open rate of over 65%, and our overall email open rate is almost 44% with a 5% click-through rate. So being in the financial technology and cryptocurrency industry, we of course have a bunch of competition, but we really see that as a positive that really speaks to the health of the industry. Where we differentiate ourselves is that we're the only cryptocurrency investment app that offers customizable automations. And on top of that, we're one of just a handful of crypto investment apps in which you actually own the crypto and can send it to your own wallet. Many other competitors, you have to cash out into fiat if you want to spend your crypto. So we have a lean, mean, and efficient team. There's 2 co-founders, myself. I have experience as the executive editor of Coin Central, which is a crypto news and educational website. At our prime, we had about 1 million readers each month. And then Ryan Riebling, who's a senior software developer at Twitch and Amazon. He was a founding member of Twitch Prime, which is one of the largest drivers of Prime memberships. And although our team's small, we've surrounded ourselves with very engaged and really top-class advisors, as you can see with Matt being here. And this isn't a pipe dream. We already have proof of concept out. We capped out the number of users that we wanted on that proof of concept. We formed the partnerships that we need to knock down any regulatory or technological hurdles, and we'll be launching a beta within the next couple weeks. So right now we're raising $650,000 for a year's worth of runway, and that's really to build out our team and hit marketing hard as you need to for a consumer product. So we've got the team, we've got the product, we've got customers that are chomping at the bit to get it. Help us bring cryptocurrency investing to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Traditional venture or
Traditional venture, yeah. Eventually we might switch to like tokenized for like a Series A or B, but yeah, for the seed round, just traditional.
So I saw you $650,000 save. You're giving up equity in this, or I mean,
Yes.
so it is equity, not
Yeah.
your tokens.
Equity. Yep.
Okay. Then the second question is, you said 3% fiat to cryptos that both ways. So
Yep, and
3%
vice versa. Yep. So 3% in, 3% out, pretty much. Yes.
So you get 80% on the year for that one analogy.
Yes.
Did you say how much you were for your take? Component where you're on your credit card where you can have the change?
Yep.
What did you have it set at?
Just normal roundups. So basically, since last year, it's invested $690, and it's worth a little over $1,200 now. No problem. And, yep.
Do you have any, forgive me, I'm spacing out trying to.
No, it's all good.
The KYC and AML stuff, as far as like people coming on,
Yep.
utilization, backup actions and stuff, you got a lot of good filters.
Yeah, so actually that's one of our partners is Sendwire. They handle the KYC AML, but we do on sign up. We need your social, we collect image of like ID, all that. So we're completely compliant. If we need to be, because we're dealing with conversions from US dollars to crypto.
That's great. What's the best way to kind of get hold of you for?
Oh yeah, so you can reach me at steven@coinclear.io, and if you want to learn more about the product, if you go to coinclear.io, it's got a bunch of information there. I don't have business cards yet, I need to get some.
Well, you bootstrapped this from over a year ago. Right?
Yeah, we've been bootstrapping and moonlighting since last year to really get it out there. So it's cool to finally get it to a point of launch.
And thank you for saving the tree. Just pull it apart.
Oh, perfect.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for setting this up. I really appreciate it.
I would like to introduce you to Rish. Rish is a friend. We met. He's also Austinite. So he moved here about a year ago, and he's a founder of Superworld. Superworld is a AR/VR interactive place where you can also buy your virtual land, your landmarks and pieces. So I was fortunate to do an interview with Rish yesterday, so I learned all about it. But I won't tell you about that. Please welcome him. Know though one thing, I think it's fascinating. He's been traveling the world with his family and living the nomad lifestyle and connecting the world through building a VC, building successful I mean, he's just done so much good in the world by just kind of going to Eastern Europe and doing good there, going to Asia, doing good there. So he's just kind of moving the innovation forward in so many ways, and he's really true visionary. So thank you for coming in and doing this for us.
Yeah, thanks so much. That's such a nice introduction. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet all of you guys. And again, I'm new to Austin, so love to catch up with everyone in person as well, and have other friends here, Mark and others who we've gotten to know over the last year. But I want to hear to present Superworld. Superworld's an augmented reality platform. So it is a world. We're in it right now, right? So what does that mean? It means that we're creating worlds in augmented reality around us. So the best way to describe this is if I come to Austin and you guys aren't in town, or LA or anywhere in the world for that matter, you could say, you know what, just check out my world. And I could walk around Austin or anywhere, and you've left me things, photos, maybe videos in different places, maybe a hologram of yourself, dancing on 6th Street. You've left a note at your favorite restaurant. Hey, order the Merlot here, or you'll love this dish. Whatever you want. Basically, the digital land around you is able to be personalized with whatever you want, right? I can see your world. You can see my world. Brands can have worlds. So that means, Nike could have a world where you walk around and maybe they want you to see a big Nike Air Jordan shoe. Maybe Coca-Cola wants you to find Coca-Cola bottles all over the city, and if you find them all, you win a car, right? So there's a lot of opportunities here, and it's basically Pokemon Go meets Foursquare, right? So what is the purpose of Superworld? So the way we're thinking about it right now is the Pokemon Go meets Foursquare, which is how do we get brands to connect with their super fans or their customers in meaningful ways. So if Betty Crocker wants to make an advertisement, can they teach you how to make cookies at home, right? Can you have a hologram where you're learning something, you're watching something in your home, but you're also able to buy, right? And by the way, all of this is live in Superworld, so we can do any of these things that I'm talking about. This isn't far out technology; it's already in the platform. So we could have a Victoria's Secret runway show in your bedroom, right? Where you can have a hologram doing something and trying on clothes or whatever, right? And so all of these advertising can be very meaningful, can be very impactful, and very engaging. So that's kind of the first purpose of Superworld. Now, I said Pokemon Go meets Foursquare, but the third part of this is Monopoly. So what does that mean? It means you can buy the world. So you can buy the digital land in Times Square in New York. You can buy 6th Street here. You can buy this place. And when you buy the digital land, you get a share of the commerce that happens on the digital land. Remember, it's people running around Pokemon Go, doing things on the real world. And if you own the digital land, you get a share of all of that commerce. We've opened up the digital land so other applications can build on top of it, from consumer all the way to enterprise. So Superworld's not the only application on the digital land. This is what it looks like. You can just go pick out a spot anywhere in the world and buy it. It's a very simple process. It's on Ethereum, so it's a non-fungible token. It's an ERC 721 token. And so when you buy a piece of land, you can reprice it. So if you buy something for 0.1 Ether, which is what the price is of anything that's not bought, you can then reprice it. So if you bought, 6th and Congress over here, you can say, I bought it for $20 or whatever, 0.1 Ether. I'm going to reprice it to $500,000. And then, as more people populate the platform, then that land that you've bought, because it's finite, will hopefully be able to be sold at whatever price you want it at. That's the interface. It's very simple. We've built a decentralized ad network around the world. So not only is Superworld connected to that ad network, but other applications that are in AR can connect into that ad network. And we've already gotten requests from other apps that are being built from gaming all the way to enterprise that are interested in monetizing and connecting to our data network. Again, so the Foursquare part of that is data. So apps want to connect. Even if they want to build their own app, they can connect to our data network, right? We're on iPhone and Android. It's in open beta. The market's huge. I think you guys all know VR and AR are really blowing up. The beauty of this is this is on mobile phones. There's 6.5 billion mobile phones that are AR enabled. We've gotten traction. So we've sold about $16,000 of digital land. This is a little bit older of a slide. About 600 properties around the world. No marketing spend. When people understand what we're doing, they come and spend $300 to $400 on the platform buying land. And they're not just users, they're key stakeholders. So this isn't just users. Now, if you've bought in, you're in. You're going to tell everyone you know, one, just for the novelty's sake, hey, I own this whole street, right? But plus, you have an incentive because as more people get on, you can sell that land. So we've really thought through the economics of how landowners and apps and other advertisers and publishers are all working together here. This is my co-founder. His name's Max Woon. Max co-founded Xfire and sold it to Viacom, but he's also co-founded Fizzle, Sliver, Skit, and Toonstar, all venture-backed companies. And he used to work with Stephen Hawking at Cambridge, so he's like a super intelligent guy. We used to work together before. I've started a few different companies. My background is management consulting, investment banking, M&A on Wall Street. I started a venture capital fund in Europe about 8 years ago, investing across tech. I was early at an Andreessen Horowitz-backed company called TopTal, which we scaled. It's a unicorn company now. And then previously, about 3 years ago, I started Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, TV, VR, and gaming studio. It's venture-backed by the top AR, VR investors. My partner there is Michael Bay, the filmmaker, and my other partner is Pete Blumel, who co-founded or produced Call of Duty, the franchise. So that's kind of our backgrounds. This is the team. We got a full team of people helping from all over the world in different areas, including people in Austin. Robert Scoble is like one of the top guys on AR, VR. He's one of the top tech influencers. Joined us right away. We have another very top AI scientist, very well known, who's joining the team as well. I don't want to announce him until he's on. Tobias Ratschiller is an investor. He started CryptoCoin News. And yeah, we're raising $750K. Getting traction, we probably have about a little bit more than half of that accounted or committed. But we're also talking to other VCs as well that are looking at this opportunity just because it's transformative, we believe. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.
And we talked about the space yesterday. So
Yeah.
you guys are maybe even going to make the moon and
Yeah, we were actually just
we
talking.
want
Yeah.
to, we
1.1 acre for the
Yes.
whole thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, point one ether per plot. Yeah, there could be some kind of interesting gamification partnership there to get people interested in Space Fund, as well as do the similar kind of thing, speculate on the moon.
Space, yeah.
Right? Yeah, could be fun.
like even with the space settlement, if you're going on a mission to go find certain star, you can already go ahead and
Yeah, could be a way to get people. Again, it's we're very open in terms of other applications and other partnerships because at the end of the day, it's a platform.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very cool.
And you are
Yeah.
self-funded, right?
Yeah, we're self-funded. We've raised a little bit. We've gotten about out of the 750K, we already have about 100 of it funded.
Okay.
We have another about maybe 200, 250 that's committed, and then we'll probably do that or more in this round. So yeah, we're getting traction on that side, but open to talk to investors interested in getting involved.
Do you already have like brands committed that are
Yeah.
advertising your platform? Because as a marketer, I think this is going to change a lot of shit. This is
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So we've gotten a pretty far along with a very big national media company, which I'm actually was very excited about that they've had those conversations. It makes a lot of sense to a lot of brands. We just brought in a guy who's joining the team who has extensive sales and business development experience, actually marketing to small and medium businesses in the location-based space.
Yeah.
So he's done kind of sales around this. Literally, I was at an event last night, and talk to a CPG company, like a tequila company, who's like, oh yeah, we love it. So the conversation is there. There's a lot of interest because the brands can't do this on Facebook and Snapchat right now in the way we can. So they could do things that could get a lot of press, and so the conversations are pretty readily available, and they're all very interested. I think what we're raising the capital for is so right now the app's an open beta.
Right.
It's just kind of out there. Everything I've told you, I can show you demos of it, and we have ads around Austin even that are like they're live. We just have to redo the front end to make it that Pokemon Go meets Foursquare experience, which is actually wouldn't even take that much time, maybe a month or so. So we're ramping up the brands right now, and then redoing that UX UI on the front end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our plan. That's what we're doing.
So, so basically, you're looking at a situation. So right now, I've got a company and I want to grow it into reality. I don't need to come to you. That was, like Pokemon, I just put it out there. So you're basically trying to build it to a point where all of a sudden there's almost like an ignition point where you have so many brands that are coming through you, but then it's like, well, if you're going to do what you obviously do, it's a Super Bowl, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, look.
It looks like there's a real slow build and then a takeoff point. Otherwise, why do I need you
Yeah.
to do my thing?
Sure. There's two ways to look at that. So as a brand, you could do it yourself, which is totally fine with us, meaning you could connect to our data API and just have locational information, right, if that was useful, right, when we get to a point where there's enough users where that data is important to you. But the point is yeah, if you build that same experience, which you might have independently on another app, let's say you've built a, Domino's Pizza or whoever it is has a Pokemon Go type find pizzas around, but they also want to put that same experience on Superworld, which is easy to port over. Then you have users now who are, on our application, who are, first movers, who are early adopters, who are, higher. They're doing AR and VR, so they're probably a higher spending demographic. Now they're finding you because they're, seeing other.
Can I ask another question about that?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. The question is that to come into Super World right now,
Yeah.
I'm coming into a place that's basically I'm buying in so I get the chance to see lots of billboards.
So you're not buying in for the billboards. No,
I'm buying the property, but as a user coming
Yeah.
in, who's
Yeah.
not a real estate buyer, just somebody who
Yeah.
wants to be in Super World and wander around.
got it.
So there has to be almost like a Pokemon Go or some other value creation for customers
Yes.
to get you in there.
Yes.
So they see that. I'm not coming to see Domino's, so I'm coming to
Yeah.
kill
Yeah.
dragons or hang out with
Mhm.
Pokemon.
Killing dragons.
Yeah.
Bad dragons.
Yeah.
Let's keep the good ones around.
Riding dragons.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So
Like that's the whole. If you correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like as somebody who uses social a lot, I'm doing it to connect with people that I'm not physically there with. So this is giving you an ability to connect with them on a much deeper level. Subtract if there's any like games in it or whatever. Like that's really powerful.
This goes back to your first point about eat at my pizza place. That's what he's saying.
yeah, so there's a few different points here. One is it's just personal social. So he could say, "Hey, you're my friend. Check out Austin. Check out my Austin, or check out my LA, or wherever." Right. The other point of it is yes, there are games and other things you can do in it. Right. If you can play Space Invaders in Super World right now and other location-based games. But then the third part of it is, let's say you're following an influencer, right? So you're going out there to say, oh, I wonder what X influencer is doing in this city. Well, you can go around locationally. You can even go into that influencer's digital space, like their apartment, digitally, and that's also live on Superworld. So we're thinking about a few things. It's probably going to be a mix of those three: the personal stuff, the brands. So you might be a fan of Nike and you want to go and collect those shoes or get a chance to win something because they want you to engage with their brand. And then third, as I said, the influencer thing is also a big grab. So influencers can say, hey, you want to engage with me further, like here, check out my world in ways that you can't do on Instagram or anywhere else right now. Yeah.
Two-part question. How do I make, if I'm buying this place for 0.1 Ether,
Yeah.
how am I making money on that? And then Secondly, you did it on ether. With the volatile ether, was there a consideration put on a stablecoin versus ether?
Yeah, good question. So on the first point, lots of Austin's already being bought up already. You go up onto the website, you pick a spot, you buy it. If once you buy it, it's finite. There's a certain number of properties that are prime around the world. So as more
What's
people
the market, the secondary market to buy it?
So once you buy a property, it's very simple. You can reprice it. So you buy it for 0.1 ether, about $25, right?
Yeah.
And you can say, look, this is now worth 500,000, and put it for resale on the site, right? And as people get onto the site, we believe that there's going to be bigger and bigger buyers. Some of who might be more strategic, who would say, hey, you know what? Buy all of this for $5 million or something. Now you've just unloaded your $20 purchase for $250,000 or whatever it is, right? The numbers, and it's an NFT, so you can really price it to whatever you want. You might have more nostalgic value for this property than market value, and maybe someone wants it for a similar reason, right? So these are all digital assets. Fortnite makes about $300 million a month selling digital accessories. Imagine selling digital accessories on top of the real world, where I could say, look at my car, or find me next to the red Lamborghini parked in the front, or whatever, right? And, or whatever it is. I mean, whether it's selling space fund accessories because people want to buy that rocket that's sitting there, that's like 50 stories tall, that you guys are selling in every city. There's a lot of opportunities in terms of commerce.
Seems like probably
Marketing, personalization, influencers, being able to kind of share our lives and brands together in a augmented reality, and to be clear, in virtual reality as well. You can go into VR from Superworld. You don't need to. It's an XR world. To be clear.
And how much of your
Yeah.
prime real estate is already bought up? Like, can you still buy space in New York?
Yeah. I mean, parts of Manhattan have already been bought up. I don't know exactly. There's people who have different themes. So some people are sports fans, and so they get on and they're like, I'm going to buy all the stadiums. I'm going to buy World Cup, tennis, like whatever, and they buy stadiums. Other people buy downtowns. Some people buy historical areas.
Yeah.
Some people buy corporations. So I think Consensus was like one of the first places that got bought up. Google, Facebook, people buy offices. Because the analogy here is domain names in '95, right? Or Bitcoin in 2009, right? People and the markets and demographics also vary. There's crypto buyers, and then there's people who come up to me who are like, I've never even bought crypto before, but this seemed like a cool way to get into it.
Right.
Which with some part of this raises for marketing exposure, and you guys definitely can help us with that. And we're getting it's a very viral story too. So when people hear about it. Again, you're a key stakeholder when you buy onto it. So and unlike Facebook and Google, I'm saying, hey, if you like Superworld, buy some, right? Join it now while it's available at the set 0.1 ether price.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, thank you.
We have Mark Jeffrey here, CEO of Guardian Circle, and I've been aware of this for I guess a year or more. I knew one of his business partners, Kalia, and just the concept of being able to have an emergency response system that's not necessarily dependent upon your local government around the world is just stupendous. It's amazing. Bitcoin's kind of decentralizing money, and so now we have apps that are allowing other types of governance services to be able to be provided. So.
Cool, thank you. So my name is Mark Jeffrey, as you heard. Guardian Circle is our company. There we go. We're a community emergency response network. This is, where friends, family, and neighbors can help one another in a crisis situation. So the big problem we're solving is there's 6 billion people on Earth who have no 911. There just is no magic number these people can call when bad things happen. All those of us that are here in the States, we do have 911, but it's pretty antiquated. It's kind of 1960s technology. If you call from a mobile device, they have no idea where you are. Uber can find you more easily than 911. Also, it doesn't scale in mass emergencies. When there's a hurricane or an earthquake, 911 effectively gets DDoSed by all the inbound phone calls, right? And finally, 911 has no concept of the multiple nearest helpers that are most proximate to an emergency and who can help the fastest. It just doesn't know about these people.
So in our minds, the way to solve this problem is what would we build today if we were building 911 from scratch? And so that's where we started. We think that the way the world should work is no matter where you are on Earth, whenever you're in trouble, all you should have to do is press a button. That button sends your alert up to the cloud. The cloud looks down and sees what people and resources are already near you. It then activates, coordinates, and pushes all that help to you as quickly as possible. So we call this a flash mob of help. Another way to think of it is edge delivery of first response, right? So we're doing, what a CDN does with files, we're doing it with humans. So in practice, this is our app. This is how it works. When you're in trouble, open the app and press the alert button, or you can use one of the myriad devices that are connected to your account via the Guardian Circle API. When that alert goes out, it goes out to your responders. So who are these people? Well, it starts with your guardians. These are people that you've pre-connected with in the system. So typically your friends, family, neighbors, people like that. It can also go out to nearby citizens, so strangers who happen to be near you when the alert goes off. Both parties have to have opted into this beforehand. Later on in our life cycle, we're going to add in private response, so think private EMTs, private security, and finally official response. We think at some point municipalities will become enthusiastic about this and want to get out to the same grid. So when the alert goes out and people answer it in under 30 seconds, everyone knows where everybody else is, and everybody can talk to everybody. And this is the important part, whether they knew each other beforehand or not. They all know you, but they don't all know each other. Your mom and your neighbor, getting them communicating when you're in trouble, that can be incredibly powerful and might even save your life. After your alert is over, all the people who answered your alert are now lined up for you on your tip screen, and this is where you reward your responders with Guard, which is our crypto. And when you're ready to tip them, you just hit confirm tip. It's a one-click to tip kind of thing. And where does it go? It goes into their in-app Guard wallet. Our users are not crypto users, right? Our people, they're seniors, they're people around the world who they've heard of crypto, but they're really here for the the community emergency response part. So we feel we need to give them everything they need to operate in the crypto universe right inside of our app, which includes the in-app wallet, and it even includes starter Guard. So when you download the app, you get a little bit of starter Guard. You can earn more Guard by referring a friend. So every time you invite more people in the Guardian Circle, we give you a little bit of Guard. We make this very easy to do. We have an in-app contact invite system. This is a lot of engineering effort actually went into this piece of our product. We want this to be very viral. We want it to be very LinkedIn-like, where it has suggested guardians and like all that kind of thing. So we know who's already in the system. We'll bubble them to the top. We know if several of you are contacts, all know one person. That's a good suggested guardian. Things like that. So how do we make money? Well, Guardian Circle Gold is one way that the corporate entity makes money, and this is a subscription service, and it's patterned after things like Duolingo and Calm, if you're familiar with those companies. Where part of the reason why you buy the Guardian Circle Gold membership is that you're supporting our mission, which is to help us bring free safety to millions worldwide, those 6 billion people that have nothing. By having a membership, you're helping us build out more and better services in those regions of the earth. Also, you have highest priority in our system. So because you were there for those 6 billion people, you now, when it's your turn, and there's a choice between who we're going to funnel resources towards, the gold members get it first. We also put a gold star in your avatar so everyone knows you're a good citizen, you're helping the world. And finally, when we do Guard airdrops, the gold members get them first and in greater quantities than anyone else. So our traction to date, this is new information, and I have not announced this formally yet, so please keep it within this room. We're about to announce 3 senior Uber executives as new advisors. These are all people who are like SVP level or above, who have 6+ years in Uber, launching multiple geographic products in multiple countries on Earth. We were selected by Fast Company as one of their world-changing ideas 2018, Newsweek, and we were heavily featured in a movie called Trust Machine, which is a new crypto documentary. Alex Winter is the director. If you know Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, he's Bill. We're expecting this to be on Netflix and iTunes and Amazon in the next few months. So as I mentioned earlier, we have an API. This is another way in which the corporate entity makes money. Any hardware manufacturer can connect any alert device to our grid. So you can think of 1,000 things. It could be the alert device from, I follow and can't get up, a little push button thing, voice, yell to your Alexa, crash detection in your car, heart rate detection, all kinds of things. For these folks, state guard for API access, or you can pay us directly. A lot of companies that we've gone and shown this to have been like, we want to do it. But when we tell them you have to state guard, they go, oh, our accounting department has no idea what that means. So we just said, all right, that's fine, just pay us, and then we'll stake the guard on your behalf so that we are obeying our own rules. And the XPRIZE folks actually did this, and we tested over 100 prototype devices in Mumbai, India last year. So it's been pretty well, our API has been pretty well battle tested. Everything you've seen so far is active. This is coming in the future, the private response and official response. Basically, anyone who's got a geography, they stake to access all alerts that occur within their geofence. And this is what it looks like. And this is an actual screenshot of our God view that we use internally. We give this to you, just constrained to your geography. And I happen to catch a moment where there were a number of alerts going on all over the world. This is not a mock-up, this is an actual screenshot. And that's it for the main presentation. We just opened a $1 million convertible net note. Michael Turpin and Jason Kalkanis are in on this note. We're about to show it to the Uber Angel group next week. Our 3 new Uber advisors are walking it into. They have a secret Facebook group where they all talk. So about a week from now is when they're going to present it to everyone. So we think it'll fill up fast. So you guys are actually getting to know about this beforehand. And that's it.
Thank you. Might be a silly question, but is it on your phone?
Is it on my phone? Yeah, sorry, it's an app.
So if I want to use it for myself or for my mom,
Yes.
for my parents, my sister, whatever, my relatives and friends, it's basically a button on the app.
That's right.
It's an app, basically.
It's an app,
Push
yeah,
the button, you push it and it sends the alert.
Yes. So you have a couple options. You can open the app on your phone and push the button. Obviously, if you're being assaulted, that's not going to work very well. You're like, hang on, assault person. Not going to work. So that's why we made the API, so that people could have push button rings, panic button devices on themselves.
Just like that automatic thing on iPhone that makes you call directly to 911.
That's right.
Okay.
So, in fact, the XPRIZE folks, the XPRIZE contest that we were a part of, was the Women's Safety XPRIZE. And it was specifically designed to protect women under an assault situation. Yes.
If I understand you correctly, this is for people who don't have access to 911?
We think that's where it does the most good in the world, but in the United States, there's a lot of places where people are in remote areas or for one reason or another, they want to have the extra protection, just like neighborhood watch, right? People want to have neighborhood watch because the cops can't be everywhere at once, right? So we think it's very valuable for people in the States, and as I said, 911, when you call from a mobile, they have no idea where you are.
Yeah, that seems to me the best application, because if something happens, like right there, all you have is a push a button. You can't say your address. Oh yeah, here, can you hear my,
Yeah, so the reason why, I want to make sure this gentleman hears this. The reason why I started this company is because my girlfriend had a stroke. She was all alone in her garage. I happened to come home and find her and bring her to the hospital. Everything's fine. But I realized that there was help. She was drowning in help. There were 7 people within 1,000 yards of her. She had no way to reach them, and they had no way to coordinate their efforts to get to her quickly. So I actually came up with this because of something that happened in my own life in the United States. With a stroke, if you don't get to the hospital fast, you're screwed. It's over. It's all about time.
So can you restrict your network, the audience?
Oh, yes.
Your family, just people in this building?
You can. So it's just the guardian relationship is like a friend relationship in Facebook. So I ask you to be a guardian, you say yes or no. And if you're super annoying and you're hitting the button every 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, unguard that person. Right? So you have full control over who can send you alerts and who your alerts go to.
And so are you planning to plug into networks kind of like Amber Alert in that kind of way where people won't have to have the app in order to receive the alert?
We're open to all that stuff. Yeah. We're just focusing right now on app proliferation at the moment. So there's no reason why we couldn't do that.
Right.
It's not first on our list right now. Question?
On the investment side of it, you're taking a convertible note, $1 million. I mean, you're obviously a target to get acquired, right? So, but that's your primary exit goal, right?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I can't predict the way this will go. I think it's most likely an acquisition because I think the IPO market is cooling off. And we watched what happened with Uber's disastrous IPO. They listed them as a disaster. So the whole kind of venture bubble to IPO thing seems like it might come back, but my guess is it won't, at least for a while. So it's probably an acquisition exit, but I don't know that for sure.
Tokenized security, but a security token in 2 years will probably be the equivalent or better than a
It could
current
be.
IPO.
There could be other options that arise within the next
There's
couple of years.
also a big effort in kind of bringing small market caps back to life in a global effort, and there are a number of very important players that are building that. So I think that small market cap is going to get liquidity, global liquidity soon. But that's just kind of under the pretense.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this work.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.